I hope you didn't mind us barging into your room for our late-night feast. For what it's worth, it did me a world of good to put our troubles to one side, if only for a moment. I loved it so much, Grahat. A pewter weapon coffer. Ooh, we're starting to get higher. We're having a pleasant conversation until you barged in. Okay. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope? I was about to make my way to the Studium as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scholar Montichaigne and thank him for coming to our rescue in the Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavnair. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Since we're still waiting for Y'shtola and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? Then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to Phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the Studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Ooh, maybe he'll tell us some stuff. Probably not. He's not gonna tell us anything. I lied. He's not gonna tell us anything. I'm not expecting it, at least. Alice! Look at Alfie! Oh my god, wait! Oh my god, hold on! Hold on! No. Stay in battle stance. Oh my god, I'm so happy. If Father can master these fiendish contraptions, then so can I. You got this, Alfie. Heading out for a stroll? The scholar himself is here? In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the Studium. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino, of all people, worrying over his reputation. And at our alma mater no less. Will wonders never cease? You'll understand soon enough. Off we go! It feels like only yesterday that I first walked through these doors. See that sculpted picture above the entrance? That's the mark of Thaliak, the scholar, bearer of the waters of knowledge. It's no exaggeration to say that Charlian itself is one enormous shrine to him, and that's especially noticeable here in the Studium. Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what would later become the Studium, it was established to promote the study of etherological phenomena, hence the name. Though with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th Astral Era, Phenomenon was decreed complete and the Studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in etherology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Charlian's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech. Such is his undying love for his old stamping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the Studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and etherology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the Studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me, nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I am certainly not the Studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects have I ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Leveilleur began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck it might work to our advantage. Alright, I'm having a hard time reading right now. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholark Montichaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Look at the moon. God, it's like so detailed. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Phenomenon is something of a multi-purpose facility used by lecturers and craftsmen alike. If you're looking for learner's meet, it's through this last door on the left. The last door, sorry. Things were bad enough during our school days, and Alphino's time abroad has only heightened his fame. Or should that be infamy? He had his rivals and detractors, of course, though most of them gave that up after his adoring fans set upon them like ravenous dogs. Alphino, on the other hand, never paid them much notice. They were simply beneath him. Damn, Alphino's a celebrity around here. My princess, my queen, so long as I can continue my research with you, I am in bliss. Okay, buddy. Oh my god, this place is enormous too. Every area here is just huge. Also, I apologize if it's a little bit loud. My daughter's still awake, so. Oh my god. Spoke to me. Actually, that's so funny. I assure you I'll tell you about it after my business with the Scholark has concluded. The Scholark? Tell me, my good fellow, does this have something to do with saving the world from catastrophe? Might we turn our attention to Master Levier's graduation thesis? I too have my doubts regarding our policy of non-intervention. Is it true that your experiences overseas are the reason you have incurred the ire of the Forum? Oh, what I wouldn't give to see you butt heads with those old codgers. Oh my god, they like worship him here. What the heck? That's perfect. That was Alphino Levier, wasn't it? The Alphino Levier. And he's with his sister and Master Baldessian's granddaughter. This can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word. Oh, sorry. You said you're looking for the Scholark, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aliapo should have a better idea. Ali. Oh my goodness. All this pressure is going to be the end of me. Oh, I hope I find someone who can help soon. Oh dear, am I ever going to find a craftsman for the professor? Oh gods, Charlene must be spared. What? Oh dear, if only he were around to help me. How am I supposed to approach any gleaners for help when the subject of our research remains undecided? Honestly, that man. Hi. Oh, okay. Are you lost? Wander in off the street, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner, fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Do I look like a gleaner? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Ahem. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What is the most important thing you'll find in the Studium? That's right, books. And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal in here at Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials. Christ. They come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we set the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eye of Paisa, this, tongue of Gigantode, that, it's enough to make your hair stand on end, which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. I've tracked down many miscellaneous knickknacks in my time, but I'm no gleaner. So what you're telling me is you're not a gleaner? Yes, that's exactly what you said, isn't it? And you're looking for a scholar? I'm afraid we don't have any of those in stock, but I can... Oh, you mean him. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Go back the way you came in and you'll see it on the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. Oh. Ha, in the time it's taken me to tell you of all this, the scholar has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Level-headed student. Wait, is there anybody else in here to talk to first? So, nope. What's up? Yes, the scholar was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. Where we parted ways, he went down the corridor. Perhaps to one of the auditoriums? You better hope so, you little shit, or I'm coming back for you. Wait, is this level... Oh, I'm in level 82 quests? I didn't realize. Well, we all know what that means. Alright, Montichaigne. Ooh, a cutscene. Hi.
Ah, I remember you.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that Inquisition go unchallenged.
I love him. He's so good.
I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the Annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting.
Aww.
But it seems I just missed you.
I could definitely see this guy shoot the shit with Louis
I still
Swan.
can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye.
Aw.
You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Montoya's prize student.
Oh my god.
Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
Do you want to be a scion?
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy.
That's okay, though. We can't expect everything out of him.
Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried.
Yeah, that one guy, like, literally, like, couldn't speak.
Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such,
I
those
wanna know so
entrusted with this
bad.
duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
Yeah, that one guy when they were like...
How is that even possible?
Yeah.
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture.
I like his rings.
Take a seat.
He's so cool. We're really on. This is so cute. Sorry, my chair's really squeaky. Ooh, okay.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul, and the memory. Can anyone tell me the 3rd?
Wait. Oh, 2 are of the incorporeal, the soul and the memory. Can you even tell me the 3rd? I guess corporeal ether?
Yes, very good.
Yeah! Tenacious is really
the form
smart.
with which the layman is most familiar.
Okay.
Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux.
Okay.
In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the 2 are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it.
Okay.
Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The calamity? The 7th Umbral calamity?
The 7th Umbral Calamity.
Look at me!
The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation.
Whoa.
Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
You would think not, because it would be like impossible to remove
If
though.
9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process
It
may
can
be
be, okay.
reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea.
But that still doesn't answer why they all made the unanimous decision to not intervene. I don't feel like.
For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean.
Wait, wouldn't returning to the ethereal sea be like death?
And our our memories drift apart and dissolve. Rather defeating the purpose, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable.
You are wise.
Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Tenacious seemed to be really interested in just the blank sheet. That's so cute.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
Dude, you are a badass.
Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
I feel like this is like the closest character that we're going to get to talk to like Louis Swan. Like, I feel like he would be a lot like him. I level 525. I think I might give that to my Dragoon. If you are game. Artisanry to good use. Some of my earliest memories are of Scholark Montichaigne, actually. He was a close friend of our grandfather. He would come for tea and amaze us with his tricks, much like his demonstration with the paper and ink. He's a huge part of why I wanted to enter the Studium in the first place. That is so cute. While Scholark Montichaigne is best known for his role as head of the Studium, he is said to be one of the finest mages Sharlayan has ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease with which he weaves extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. Gives me Gandalf vibes. Digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the form's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the Annex. Perhaps on the way you could better acquaint yourself with Ki Aliapo, as the Scholark suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. Estinian returned not long after we departed for the Studium. A shame that he missed the chance to attend our lecture with the Scholark. Or perhaps not. Having spent most of the time in Thavnair, I've yet to fully grasp the lie of the land here in Sharlayan. Even finding my way to the Annex proved a challenge. It seems I've done an adequate job of relaying Scholark Montichaigne's lecture to Raha. Given his experiences in the field of souls and memories, he had no trouble understanding it. I think, yay, I'm glad that Cryol's also a minimum height Lalafell. We're both very, just short. You'd better not let your guard down around Ki. One small favor becomes another, then another, and before you know it, you'll be running to the other side of the world in search for a bottle of wine or some other rubbish. Then again, it might make for a welcome change of pace from your usual heroics, and as the Scholark said, it could also lead to interesting discoveries. Ah, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the Studium proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow scions. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa Lominsa. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive? It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? I think Estinian is still like a little cross with Cryle. Phew, I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Vritra and the alchemists of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. I was so sad when Alize talked about, like, how Vritra must be, like, in pain still from it. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I've little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. To Limsa Lominsa. I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seedseer and the Sultana, 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? I'm, like, super tight with all of them. It's fine. My apologies for calling you away from Charlian at such short notice. Okay. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. 'Twas only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggled to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Charlian, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge of abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Radzethan has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace. And it is you, the scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have showed us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telophoroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilsabard Contingent. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telophorois every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. You're goddamn right. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Well said, Nanamo. Aye, on that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there is reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telophoroi. There's certainly no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Y'shtola's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zot, the Spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard Contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Fuck yeah, we do. Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For the people of Garlemald. Couldn't have put it better myself. Stop playing this music, it's so good. Y'shtola, Thancred, and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. I just need a minute to listen, it's so good! Raban and Lord Emmerich are overseeing preparations, so I just suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. I'm so excited! Pack warm clothing, furs, and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Talafaroi so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. I made a glam specifically for this, for the cold. Ah, fancy meeting you here. I trust our mutual friend is settling into life as a scion? Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go, like a Gallicat swept up in a strong breeze. But rest assured, he will always be there when you need him. Probably. You know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Ilsabard contingent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a friendly wager? If Emmerich asks after me, say I'm getting on fine and leave it at that. Don't you dare breathe a word about the cord! I must quiz Thancred and Urianger on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. I love him so much. I'll admit, this is all rather daunting, though not quite in the way I was expecting. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our Alliance's finest, the best of the best, the Warrior of Light, and, well, me. It's silly, I know. Perhaps this is my way of distracting myself from the part I should be worried about, marching into Garlemald. Ah! I'm gonna put this on just in case. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy, bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid under the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Yeah. Can't please them all. Sadly not, though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Americ's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Gaius! Much has occurred since we parted ways in Werlet. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. Maxima! I didn't even see you over there. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us. Strange. I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Talaferoi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsabard Contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as the hero, I would only hinder your efforts. We will deliver your people from harm in your stead. For what it is worth, you have my gratitude. You and your comrades have the strength and courage to deliver my countrymen. I am certain of it. In light of Gaius' rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you. Aymeric, it's so good to see you! Oh my goodness. Now look at all the people I can talk to. Like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varus' murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's nothing to bear in mind. It's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. I neglected to mention earlier that we received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with the lunar primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. This worm, as described, was the spitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Talaferoi. Aww. So that's Gaius Balser. The horrors he must have seen, many of his own making, I do not doubt. With the knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsabardian front. Once we've seen the contingent on its way, I will return to my duties here in Alamigo. As many of our most capable will be traveling with you to Garlemald, we who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up the difference. But let no man say I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horns yet. You're goddamn right you're not. What did you say? Oh yeah, okay. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. Regardless of how my countrymen receive you, the cold will not treat you kindly. Underestimate it at your peril. Am I wearing jeans? No. Okay. This should be warm, right? This should be fine. Oh my god. The other members of the Ilsabard contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready. Ah, the remaining members of the Scions, your friends, and most of the Ilsabard contingent await you within. Would you like me to see you through? Yes.
By the 12.
Ooh! Lise! Oh. I said
Glad you could
at
join us. I hope you don't mind. but we went ahead and started with
Ryo sent his brother.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard Contingent.
Oh my gosh.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
I love how many of the people they brought back from the like job quests. I recognize a lot of the people.
I
Yeah!
have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention.
Look at all of them! Aww. Pippin!
Might I ask you to speak first?
Why? I hate this little shithead.
Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer.
Voice
We
acted
shall
Arun.
provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort. Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well.
Oh my god!
Those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards, by the way.
Is this special dialogue too? That's so cool!
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Wait, I know you.
Yeah, he was one of the... Oh my god.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had.
He was from like 5.4 or 5.5 or
Anyway,
something.
the Admiral asked Captain Hilfier to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship.
This is pretty freaking awesome.
So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
Oh my gosh, this is cool as shit.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
This is so
well, you're
cool.
certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we.
At least it's good to see you. Oh my goodness.
The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest.
This is really cool.
If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction. With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
Yes.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilsabard Contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limsa Lominsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Oh my god. No.
Ah, yes. Emanolaine de Forton, at your service.
Oh, this little shithead.
Lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself.
So we're
and fight for
babysitting.
world peace
We're
and all
babysitting
that.
a 26-year-old.
But should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
Okay, that was really cute. Oh my gosh, I should have gloves on. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea.
Lucia is
Our allies
having
from
none
the
of
Eastern
it.
Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Yes! Yes!
Forgive us.
Cyrena!
We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood,
Sadu!
as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
This is
So how do you
perfect.
know? We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
Oh my gosh.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders.
Where the fuck is he?
Gaius bloody Balesar himself is working to help rebuild Whirlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlemald Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Whoa, that is a lot of people I can talk to. Holy shit. With the Mole, champions of the Nadam, and the Dotharl having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the steppe in their absence. and I would have done so were it not for my stepbrothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might, that his radiance may deliver them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral, Dotharly dog, as first among my brothers, I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. Oops. I'm glad to see you well, Tenacious. Grandmother was worried for you. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Closer they circled, closer and closer, and as they danced, the world fell to ruin. In blinding chaos, she spied blackened silhouettes and knew at once that one was yours. Yet we know not how to interpret this dream, save as a sign that great danger awaits. But whatever lies ahead, I will walk with you, traveler. What the fuck? I care not for the Iron Men or their troubles. It is the density of the weak to die in ignominy. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteered to join this band at Sirena's request, and if she thinks it a worthy cause, that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the steppes oafish men could dream to be. Aww. Allow me to express my deepest gratitude for your role in liberating Bosnia. Me and my countrymen owe you more than we can ever hope to repay. Now that our dream has finally been realized, Bajtalion has seen fit to send a few of us to join this expeditionary force. I hope our skills will be of use. Let me have a look at you. A touch nervous to enter the battlefield, perhaps? Well, I shall be there alongside you as a temple knight serving with your fine band. Though I may not look it, I was the Azir Dragoon once upon a time. I actually knew that because I've done some of the Dragoon quests as another guy. I recognize him now. So you can rest assured I will give all that I have in the upcoming fight. I certainly won't be shown up by you or Estinian. What's up, Stephanivian? Well met, Tenacious, well met. It would seem that my machinists have been called upon to serve, a turn of events which, according to my prospectometer, could prove to be quite the opportunity. I shall show the world the full extent of machinistry's worth. That and more you can be sure of, my friend. Well, well, if I'd known what a social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, this seems the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. Would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Sirena and Sadu of the steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't much like the look of that fellow with the enormous axe. I promise you, Sadu is more intimidating than Magni. I cast my lot with the Populares to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories, that all may be united in common cause. But we were disparaged as a radical element, dissenters looking to destabilize the Empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in unfortunate accidents. I too would surely have met the same fate had I not defected. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day that dream will become reality. Wow, this is all some really intense dialogue. I've led troops into battle many a time, but never a unit with such diverse range of talents. While I've been briefed on their capabilities, I expect you could provide additional insight into their strengths and weaknesses. I'd appreciate any advice you may have. I'm so glad I found you. I've for you a letter from Master Haman. Let's read it together, shall we? Now let's see here. I've every confidence that your fist shall bring the Telophoroi to their knees, and should you espy any beautiful maidens thereabouts, perhaps sing to them my praises? Charming, Master. Well, more fool me for thinking that letter would contain something actually inspiring. Let's just, forget this note exists and focus on the battle ahead. Is this monk stuff? I actually started out as a monk, but I've only done up to, like, level 40 stuff. It seems so long ago we were sailing across the Ruby Sea and charging about the Azim Steppe with Sirena and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. It brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together, good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will be mostly the latter, but I'd like to believe we'll look back on these days more fondly in the years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Don't you die on me, aye? No. Until the Empire fell, Garleans were the only ones we was allowed to impose tariffs upon at sea. We weren't easy pickings, but I made myself a pretty gill. Since they've been so generous to me and mine, perhaps it's time I returned the favor and gave a little something back. Often as father told me of the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of the occupation, and I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, Her Grace has elected to bolster the Ilsabard Contingent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representatives of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. Okay. I'm here representing the Marauders Guild, and it's my job to keep the Smiths out of harm's way. Mind you, with them hammers of theirs, they can put up a fair fight themselves. With a bit of luck, this will be over and done with before you know it. Maybe when this is all over, you could pay the Axemaster a visit. He still tells all the new recruits about the time you killed Kujata and avenged that boy's parents. Heh, I remember it like it were yesterday. Alkazolka! Greetings, Tenacious. The time has come for us Marines to show our valor upon the battlefield. All who see us will know of our name and quake before our might. To victory, come hells or high water! Oh, Arun, you are such an asshole. In case you are wondering, Ashiva will be staying behind to defend the 12-Wood with my sisters. She was of the opinion she would make a useful addition to our contingent and was eager to make good on her vow to accompany me as well, which was flattering, but ultimately it was decided that her skills would be better put to keeping our homeland safe. I am of course obligated to share with her every detail when I return. That kid pissed me off a lot when I was doing the White Mage quest. We've been part of joint military operations like this before, and with far greater numbers, but for some reason this feels very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there's already a palpable sense of camaraderie. I agree. I did not expect to see the other former Azir Dragoon here of all places. As he well knows, I'm not one for verbose greetings. We shall instead let our lances do the talking once we are on the battlefield. Then we'll see if the other has been diligent in his training. This is extraordinary. To be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer, with comrades such as these, we are bound to succeed. I'm certain of it. I was half expecting to find the man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he is nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had his share of unpleasant experiences with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there's some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling I'll see him again once this is all over. I'm sure he'll be pleasantly surprised by how much my swordplay's improved since we last met. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies, or our journey's course. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances, who in time we shall come to call our comrades, and mayhap friends. I have close ties with the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups, and they're an absolute joy to work with. Aww. I feel like his was the only one-liner. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climate of Ilsabard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? Everyone? We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Oh, the talismans. We are to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces theirs. Ah, and before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Doma, like much of Authard, has been plagued by the towers. Yet while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Yugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid, we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. Alright, Arun. Yes? So these are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. I myself am especially grateful for this opportunity to visit distant lands. I wish to follow in the footsteps of Master Atoa and learn all there is to learn of this star we call home. Indeed, that is the primary reason I volunteered to join the expedition. To journey outside of the 12-Wood, much less enter into Imperial territory, is a rare privilege afforded a Padgel. Not that I'm tagging along to see the sights. The Garleans would benefit from my healing magics, as would our comrades, should fighting break out. You are such he pisses me off. I don't think I need my hat. I hear you've got something for us. Aye, them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when this is all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. And one more thing, I know what you're all thinking. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hilford told me was they needed some help. was they needed someone to help safeguard the future, and here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what a good pirate is on dry land, in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever needs doing, so let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. That a set of warning scales I spy? Not that I would know what they'd look like. Wow, look at these. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with ether, all the better to fend off the tempering waves? Is that the right term? Anyway, these will give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? And nervous or not, I'd march through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Oh, Xenos. Warning scales for the Ishgardian delegation, I take it? Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald. Sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But that is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Do you have a warding scale for me too? I do! Hi, Maxima. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the Cult of Ilsabard, and I cannot stress enough that this is no token warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist Guild, but understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. I leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now let us proceed to the Alamegan Quarter. While you make your final preparations, I will have the pilots ready the airships. I do wonder just what will become of us. We've been under Imperial rule for over 2 decades. What are we supposed to do now? Preparations? I've got my armor and my lance. What more could I need? Since my revival, I've been lax in expanding my limited wardrobe. Think we have time for a quick trip back to Old Charlian? I recall a rather fetching coat. It's something of a constant refrain that we require warmer clothing. My present garb may be lacking, fur collar notwithstanding. Concoctions to fortify the flesh against wind and cold are commonly sold in the Uldan markets, though they are of dubious provenance and efficacy. 'Tis said, however, that in recent days the Alchemist Guild hath produced a tincture capable of such a feat. Mayhap the achievements of their Thavnarian counterparts did spur them to action, that they not be put to shame. This coat is quite warm, but I have something rather thicker for occasions like these. There's no telling how long we'll be out in the open, and we can't go starting fires willy-nilly if we want to avoid detection. If you've anything you still need to take care of, you'd better see to it now. Here we go! I'm nervous! This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Urianger and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Hark, is that the cry of the scions in need of a tailor, I hear? Are we gonna get an outfit? Oh my god, are we gonna get an outfit, please? But how? Wahaha, I have my ways. Oh yes, indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilsabard without telling me? Ha, nothing escapes my notice. Now, you will wear these garments I made for you whether you like it or not. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion. Rather, the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? But I like my coat. It's super warm. I did have one other thing to share. Ergmus and Bloombuida have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Since they'll be running things back at headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Sharlayan? Oh, why not? You can keep Cryo Company in the Valdesian Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. And I heard Ergmus and Bloombuida did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'll be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Sharlayan. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Oh, Tataru! Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Here are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. Oh my god! Ah, I love it so much! Oh, is it dyeable? Oh, it is! Oh my god. Alright, I'll definitely wear that. Okay, cool. Tataru! Thank you so much! Well, now I gotta go make a glam. A frosty reception. I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, there he is. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? I modeled your clothing on what Alfino and I wore when we journeyed from Lord Horshafont's falling snows to Ishgard for the first time. In those days, I barely knew one end of a sewing needle from the other, and as you've always had very individual tastes, I let you pick your own outfit. I'd like to think my skills have improved since then, but do you know what's more important than skill? Heart and soul. There's plenty to be found in each and every one of my works. Oh my god, what a fucking solo instance? Holy shit. Okay. It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garlemald. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable imperial defector. Oh, yeah. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there's aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you're ready to depart, I will ready the engines. Holy shit! Okay. I'm so nervous. Several cutscenes and a battle with checkpoints. Holy shit. Okay.